Hiya folks, I'm Grim, and welcome to Grim Grooves, a channel where I react to and review music of all kinds. Today we'll be checking out our first music from Library of Ruina. This is Roland, phase 1, 2, and 3, and I have no idea what this is. All I know is that I've really enjoyed everything I've heard from Project Moon at this point, so I'm sure that this will probably be awesome, and you guys suggested it as well, so that's another point in the probably gonna blow me away column. But if you've got anything else you'd like me to check out, throw it down in the comments. And while you're down there, make sure you hit the like button and subscribe, so I know that you're enjoying the stuff I'm making and I can do more Project Moon content and all that type of stuff. I'd also like to give a shout out to my Patreon supporters. I've got a few songs from Project Moon from Mealy over there on my Patreon too, but I'd just like to say thanks to all the people who support me over there, because it means so much. But without further ado, let's check out Roland, phase 1, 2, and 3. Already this is really good. Like, the piano is absolutely fantastic. Like, that's a very mournful, beautiful piano melody there. And then we got the bass coming in as well, and also the vocalist, like the modified vocals there from whoever that vocalist is absolutely fantastic, and just helps to add a little more range to the music here, and just something different, something more interesting to help round it out and make it a little different, and also add like a bit of eeriness, a bit of ethereal element to it. It's very, very good though. I love how as the piano ramped up, they introduced the strings in the background, the violin, and now they've just incorporated it fully into the melody here, where it's just it's just strings, well, a violin, piano, and the vocalists going on, and this is so cool. Like, already it's just a well-rounded melody, and we're only like a minute and a half into the first phase. Like, I can only imagine how crazy it'll get for the next two phases. So I believe that whole building section was the same kind of section that we heard before when it built the last time. But now this phase that or this part that we're hearing right now is a little bit of a mix-up on that main melody. But it sounds incredible. Like, it definitely gives me the vibe of like someone who has to do with the church, maybe something like religious, some religious connotations there with the vocals and the kind of the way that piano is. Like there's no organs necessarily, but it's still like, I don't know, it just feels like that kind of vibe to it for me. I could be wrong, but definitely can kind of get the feeling of some kind of religious connotations to this boss fight. But really interesting, really good melody here, especially the piano melody and the strings, like absolutely stunning. Immediately I'm like, this is a song that I would love to play in a rhythm game. Like that piano melody is just sounds so good, and the percussion is also fantastic, like boom boom clap almost, kind of sounds like. But yeah, this is fantastic. I wasn't expecting to speed up the tempo so much, but it's very much welcome. Like this is awesome. Once again, we got the strings coming back in, and this sounds amazing. Like it just, like the first song was very good. It was very peaceful, almost had different elements to it that were interesting, but I think I like this one a little bit more just because it's faster tempo, more energetic. You got a little bit of like distorted synth elements in the background too, like, which is really interesting. But the piano, like the faster paced piano tempo, like the higher tempo piano music here, and the strings in the background, everything, it just sounds so good. I wonder if they're going to bring back the vocalist as well with the kind of eerie choir like music there. And there it is. You can hear it underneath the strings, I believe, unless I'm just hearing the strings and I think it's a choir or someone vocalizing like that. But let's get that last 10 again. See. This definitely feels like it would fit perfectly in like a Castlevania game or like Bloodstained Ritual of the Night or something like that. It's definitely that vibe, like again, similar like religious connotations, like a castle, like this scene we see right here, like it definitely gives me the vibe of like, again, exploring like Dracula's castle or some kind of like medieval castle where like an evil creature lives or something like that. Some, again, religious connotations there or something, but this is fantastic though. See, I believe like halfway through or something like that, these songs loop, but that's fine. Like, either that or it just kind of repeats the same similar like melodies throughout, which would be fine too. Like, it sounds fantastic regardless. Like, every element of this just works so well, like from the piano to the strings to the, again, vocalizations in the background, just slightly over top of the strings here, or like the little distorted kind of synth elements here and there. Like, it just sounds fantastic. And again, these backgrounds are, I haven't really talked about them yet, but they're really cool looking. Like, the art style in these is just very cool. Like, this one specifically, like just with the eyeballs and everything, and that castle one before, like, they look so cool. Like, I love the art. I love the snap in between phases. Like, I don't know if that's a part of the game. Like, there's probably a reason why there's a snap, but it works so well for like a transition between each different one. Let's get the beginning of that again. I love how the piano with each new phase, it just becomes more frantic and more high energy and more awesome. Like, because the piano, the melodies that they're doing with the piano are just, they're fairly complex. Like, and so it's very interesting to hear like the different styles of playing that they're doing. And yeah, it just sounds phenomenal. This is excellent. Wizard of Oz references. I know that Limba's company has a lot of literary references. I don't know necessarily if Library of Ruina does, although I would assume it probably does because it would make sense because it's a library, right? So I don't know, but that's really cool. Like, again, Yellow Brick Road, like Emerald City kind of scene there we've got. And also, again, the music is exceptional. Like, it seems like each part of this song has the same kind of 3 or 4 elements, but they're so different in between each one that they stand on their own. Like, in the last one, we barely got the choir vocalist there coming in, except for, again, right underneath the violin at certain parts. Here, we're not even like a minute and a half into this last phase, and we already have the vocalist coming in again, which is a nice touch. Like, the vocalist is very skilled and very good. It sounds awesome. And the piano, of course, is incredibly frantic, and we got the strings coming in too. Like, this is exceptional. Each individual melody is so good. Like, the piano, like, each one would stand on its own as just like, if that was all there was, it would be good enough. Like, the piano melody is fantastic, the string melody is fantastic. I know that the drums, the percussion could stand on its own, but it is very good percussion too. Like, it's just as a backing for all of this. I didn't really mention it before, but there's definitely, like, that's definitely another element that's in all of these songs is the percussion. And it sounds, again, it just helps round out the melody all that much more and makes it so much better. Like, See, if I'm not mistaken, I think that that's the part where it loops. If I'm not, yeah, again, I'm not exactly sure. I could be wrong, but it sounds, again, exceptional. Like, I don't mind listening to this again because it's just such a great, fast-paced, frantic song, and it fits for a final phase of a boss fight. Like, things keep ramping up as the song goes on. It gets more and more intense, and now we're in the final phase, and it's like, again, the piano's going wild, the violin's going wild. Like, the vocalists aren't really necessarily, like, I think the vocalist helped add a like element of peacefulness, and it probably has something to do with who Roland is, like, to kind of I don't know, show off, like, again, if he is something to do with the church maybe, or something like that, or something religious, or I don't know, but it definitely gives me, again, that vibe. And I'm wondering if it does have something to do with Oz, because this seems more like Emerald City kind of thing, although the earlier scenes we had didn't really show much to do with Wizard of Oz style things, so I don't know. But regardless, this music is exceptional. So I think this is my favorite part, and I want to get it again because it just sounds so good. Like, the combination of the, like, more intense strings and then the piano melodies going on, like, oh, it sounds so good. I was just thinking, I was saying before that it's probably a religious connotations for the vocalists going on, like just the choir like singing, but it also could be something supernatural. Like, it could be like a ghost or something like that, or some kind of, again, supernatural entity that Roland is or is possessed by, who knows. But anyways, I didn't mean to pause it right in the last couple seconds, but I wanted to get that out. So let's finish this. That's just the end. A sudden stop. Yeah, that was excellent. Like, you did, so I can, just go back. That's really cool, though. Like, visually, these backgrounds were fantastic, but the music itself was exceptional. Like, I believe that this is the first song that I've heard from Library of Ruina. I've listened to something from the Lobotomy Corporation. I've listened to several from Limbus Company now, but I believe this is the first from this one. But it's absolutely fantastic. Like, just, again, so many different elements, and they just were done so well. Like, it wasn't too complex. Like, there wasn't like a whole orchestra of like 50 different instruments or something like that. There was really just like 4 or 5, but they did those 4 and 5 so well, and the way that they built throughout phase 1, 2, and 3, like, just, it was such a good progression. Like, and I can only imagine how cool this would be in the boss fight itself, just hearing as you get to each phase, like, how the music shifts up, the tempo increases, and it gets more intense, and the piano goes wild, and the strings go wild, and it's so cool. Like, I always love a good progression like that, and an evolution of the melodies over the course of the song, instead of just having one core boss melody that plays throughout the whole thing. Like, yeah, it's just crazy, the level of detail and the level of work that goes into music these days in video games, and the level of talent, the level of, like, dedication. Like, it's awesome to see, because I'm just always blown away by how skilled these people are and how awesome it is. Like, even for games I've never played before, you can still feel the emotion coming off of this. Like, there's again an element of sadness going through this, an element of like redemption, maybe, things like that. But yeah, it's very good. But anyways, thanks for hanging out and watching my reaction. If you liked it, make sure you hit the like button and subscribe. And until next time, later days, folks.